Hello. Welcome to ActionNet tutorial provided by Spin. In today's video, you'll learn more about the Run menu. This menu consists of 7 submenus. Let's talk about each one specifically. Build submenu contains 3 main tabs: Messages, History, and References. The Messages tab displays the current status of the project after being compiled, as well as the errors found and their location in project. In History tab, you can see the history of builds already made, and also how many errors were found in each one. In References, you can add specific DLLs to the project. Let's go to ActionNet for better understanding of how this submenu works. This is the initial appearance of the Run menu. In Messages tab, it is possible to compile the project and see possible errors. To do this, just click the Build button. You can also check or unselect some options. It's recommended to leave the options checked by default. Also, if you have made any symbol or imported any component, check Verify Symbols and Save All Displays option to check for errors in these symbols as well. Then click Build and wait. Depending on the size of the project, this process may take a few minutes. After that, if there are errors in project, they will be flagged in Build Status column. To check where the error occurs, double-click on it and it will be displayed for correction. In History tab, you can view all builds already made in this project, as well as build date, user, and any errors found. You can also open and delete project versions. In Reference, you can add new DLLs. To do this, find the desired DLL on your computer and click Verify References. After that, this DLL is already in your project. Test submenu is used to run the project in test mode. This is a great tool for when you want to test the project in field without influencing or changing the commands and values obtained in field. In Startup submenu, the project is executed in full execution mode, using all available modules. In Publish, the project for field installation is published. It's important to remember that when you publish the project, you create a .trun file that no longer accepts changes to your settings, therefore, it's definitive. Returning to ActionNet, let's go to Test submenu. Note that in this mode you can use any of the diagnostic tools. About the modules, you can choose if you want to use them, but in test version, creating temporary files. To do this, click the Test DB or Read Only option. You can also view the status of the project, and by enabling the Enable Online Configuration option, you can change the displays during project execution. In Startup, the settings are very similar, but in this submenu, the execution of the project is done with all modules. There's also the option to change the display during project execution. Let's run this project to see how it works. In ActionNet Startup window, you can open the diagnostic tools at any time. For example, let's open Property Watch. In it, you can check all the information for each tag in project. Let's put, for example, tag Inicio. Notice that value is shown correctly. In Trace window, you can see information and errors of all modules. To choose the one you want, click Settings and choose one or more modules. In Info, you can view project information. ActionNET Startup window also controls the execution of certain modules in the project. For example, if you pause or stop the alarm module, the alarm will no longer be triggered in this project, even if your alarm condition has been met. And, by pressing Shutdown, the execution of project is ended. To publish the project, simply choose which version number will be incremented and click Publish. In UseCount submenu, UseCount tab displays the count of tags, reports, displays, scripts, and databases used in project. In Cross-References tab, it's indicated where each of these tags, reports, displays, and others are being used in the project. In the Unused Objects tab, the elements that are not being used in the project are shown. In the Dictionaries submenu, Localization tab, you can configure the translations of the sentences used in the project. In Enumeration sets, you view the project enumerators. In Categories, it is divided into categories to be used for deploys, which are used to create alarms, historian tables and points automatically. The Units tab is used to sort units of measurement. Finally, in the Extensions submenu, Imports tab is used to import various input types already available by ActionNET. The Export tab is used to export components from one project to another. Components tab is used to import components into the project. To do this, simply place the .t component file in ActionNET Components folder and press Refresh. And Install Plugins tab shows the installed plugins. Let's go to ActionNET to get to know these tools better. UseCount tab shows the count of each part used in project. For example, it's indicated that tag Inicio has been used 11 times. If I add another label with this tag and click Save and then refresh, the count of that tag will be incremented by 1. Cross-reference tab indicates where each element is used. In Unused Objects, all elements that aren't used in the project are shown. In Dictionaries, Localization tab, you can create a new dictionary for a language. By default, dictionaries in English and Portuguese are already available in ActionNET. If you want to put some text, just put the original text and its translation. You can also automatically load alarm messages and display strings by clicking on Load Strings and then placing your translation. In Enumeration Sets tab, enumerators are a distinct type consisting of a set of named constants. You can use the ones that come by default from ActionNET or create new ones. In Categories, the project categories are shown. And in units, you can create and modify units of measurement. In Extensions, Imports tab, you can import various types of inputs, such as other projects, into your project. Or you can configure an OPC server, among others described on the screen. In Export, you can export symbols or displays for other projects. Let's, for example, export the main test screen from the Draw menu made in another video. For this, all the elements necessary for the functionality of this screen have already been selected. Click Export and choose the name of the component, the initial image, the version and a description, and click Yes. Wait while the component is created. Install Plugins tab shows the plugins installed in project. In our case, there are none. To show the Components tab, let's open a new project and import the component we just created. To do this, click Refresh to update the new components you have inserted. Then select the desired component and click on Add Component and then OK. Note that tags have been imported, as well as the entire display and its settings. Thank you very much for your attention. See you in the next ActionNet tutorial video provided by Spin. If you have any question, please contact us.